What's up, YouTube? Man, today I've been doing some herbalism research and I wanted to share some herbalism books that I'd like to recommend and a couple that I wouldn't recommend at all. And the reasons that I wouldn't recommend them are pretty much the reasons why I would recommend the other ones. So I'm going to get on with it. Folk Medicine by Dr. Jarvis. Um, he was like 80 years old in 1958 or 59 when he wrote this, and I'm fairly certain that this dude thought that you could cure everything from a broken toe to blindness with apple cider vinegar and or honey. Yeah, he does have a section in here on chronic headaches, and I actually think that it's a misinterpretation of diabetes. He talks about using an acid strip to test your urine to determine whether or not you need to be prescribed vinegar, the cider vinegar, or honey. So I don't recommend this. It was entertaining and it was worth the 50 cents or a dollar or whatever that I spent on it. I just don't know if I got any useful information out of it, and I don't know if you will either. Not about herbalism anyway. But the old folk remedy books, there's much better ones. Like the Foxfire books have some pretty good remedies in them and stuff. This book it has an awesome index in it, which is why I wouldn't recommend something like this either. There is absolutely no index in there to so that you can look up your ailment or look up a plant to find out what it helps with. Um, this one has a great index, and you can look up by ailment or by the plant, and like that's really nice about it. But I looked up headaches. My wife is suffering from headaches and migraines, and when I looked up headaches and migraines, listen to this list of ingredients. We've got fresh feverfew flowering herb. I do not have that. I could probably grow it. I've heard of it. Um, I'm, I could probably grow it. It gives the scientific names in here too. I'm not gonna make you suffer through my Latin. Um, It also wants Jamaican dogwood bark. Like, I live in New York. Where am I going to get Jamaican dogwood bark without ordering it online? And who knows how long it'll take to get here, how much that costs. I was a cook for a very long time, and I do not recommend buying expensive ingredients that you're only going to use once. That expensive spice that you're only going to use one time for one recipe, and then it sits on the shelf. I'd much rather substitute with something comparable. Fresh black haw root and tree bark. I have no idea what that is. Fresh St. John's wort flower buds. I think St. John's wort grows around here. I'm at least familiar with that one. I couldn't tell you what it looks like, but Google could. Meadow sweet herb, I'm not familiar with. Fresh butterbur root, I am not familiar with. Willow bark, specifically the Salix species. Fresh ginger root, we could do that one. But if it's full of stuff that you can't get locally or that you don't have access to, um, man, I'm probably going to end up donating this book. It does have information on how to make tinctures and stuff in it, but so do the ones that I'm going to recommend. And a lot of that information is redundant. That's another thing that I didn't like about this book. It's very redundant. The headache thing that I just read for you. Later on in the book, it lists about half those herbs in another headache remedy, and yeah, I don't know. It seemed redundant. This book, on the other hand, this has an impressive index in it. The first index in it is the Comprehensive Botanical Index, and here you can look them up by their common names. And then after that index, there is, I think it's a general index. I'll find it. It didn't run away. It's been in this book the whole time. P, W, here we go. The general index. Here you can look it up by ailment. There you go. That's much more focused, huh? Yeah, you can look it up by ailment there. If you happen to know the Latin name for a plant and you don't know the specific or the common name for it, it has a section that's all botanical names. Like, let me think about lemon balm is. We're going to be talking about lemon balm later. Melissa officinalis. So if I look up Melissa officinalis in here, LMME, Melissa officinalis, it's listed under balm in here, which makes sense. Lemon balm. Also, if I go, let's see, I think it's page 59. We'll see how good my memory is. 57, 58. Nice. Plants applicable to various conditions. And then it starts listing conditions in alphabetical order and the plants that help them out. That's pretty cool too. You can look up a whole mess of different ways. You should be able to find whatever you're looking for with this. Specifically, I was looking for headaches. So it's in alphabetical order. Cough, diabetes, gallbladder, gout, gums, hay fever, headache. Right down here, headache. And the ones with an asterisk next to them are good for migraines too. There's only 2 on this page, but if I go over to the next page, there's a whole column. Oh, I hit my elbow and Bina thought somebody was knocking at the door. Maybe she's just reminding you guys to hit the like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. It helps in the algorithms. But there's a whole column here for headaches and another little portion of a column over there of plants that are in this book that are good for headaches. And the very first one listed is balm. I knew that was going to be coming up later. So, look, in this part, where all the plants are, it's in alphabetical order too. So, I'm going to go to balm. It's got to be near the beginning. Flax, dog's ear, cornflower, clove, carrot, buckbean, bonnet, black cohosh, balm. There we go. Alright, so it gives a description of the plant, and then there's a properties and uses section. And it says, balm is a remedy for common female complaints and is useful for all sorts of nervous problems, hysteria, melancholy, and insomnia. Use balm tea to relieve cramps, dyspepsia, flatulence, colic, chronic bronchial catarrh, and some forms of asthma. Try it also for migraine and toothache, and during pregnancy for headaches and dizziness. The warm infusion has diaphoretic effects. An infusion of the leaves added to bath water is also said to promote the onset of menstruation. Use the crushed leaves as a poultice for sores, tumors, milk knots, and insect bites. Balm is also used in herb pillows because of its agreeable odor. But this book will serve you well. It's going to help us a lot. You saw that whole column of different herbs to try. I'm positive that there are herbs in there that I have easy access to, that we can probably come up with a nice tea or something that she might enjoy that helps. I'd also recommend this book, Herbal Medicine. This one's really good. Again, the index, you can look up by ailment or by the plant name. And let's see, I did headaches in here. And check this out. Toothache and headache. What's it say here? It says, Stevens, that must be whoever they're referencing, says that marigold was once considered a specific remedy for both headache and toothache to country people in England. In the book The Gardener's Labyrinth from 1577, also describes marigold as a toothache aid. Quote, the juice of marigold petals mixed with vinegar to be rubbed on gums and teeth becomes a sovereign remedy for the assuaging of the grievous pain of teeth, unquote. That's pretty cool. This also, an herbal selector. You can go through and it's in alphabetical order. Alcohol abuse. What's that say? Allergies. Anemia. Let's get to the headaches section. There's all sorts of stuff in here. Bruises. Coughs. Digestive flatulence. Diarrhea. Fever. We're getting closer. Headache. Give you a second to read that. Yeah, so the headache section for general headache relief on the next page. Let's see what this one recommends. Cold balm or Melissa. We know what that is. That's lemon balm. That's just another name. That's the issue with common names, is different places have different common names for the same plant. It's actually starting to happen with the scientific names of mushrooms specifically. Then they keep changing the genus and species and everything of mushrooms, and man, I can't keep track of it all. They might as well just give them common names and roll with it. But anyway, cold balm or Melissa, yeah. Basil, that was also listed in this book. That was the next thing on the list. Cayenne pepper, this says a few grains added to other teas. Chamomile flowers, yup, I've heard that. Ginger, these are all very common things. Sweet marjoram, that might be in your cupboard for cooking. Parsley, same thing. Peppermint tea. Rosemary. I was a cook for a very, very long time, and I remember learning that rosemary in highly concentrated or in large quantities, it can actually be fatal. It can put you into a coma. I think I'd be careful with rosemary tinctures. I'm not a doctor. I have about that much more medical training than Bina does. But rosemary, I've heard it can be toxic. I would look that one up if I was you. Sage, yup. It also says to use garlic buds in salad to clear a headache, or use lavender oil or water or lotion on your forehead. A tiny valerian discote pill, I have no idea, will also relieve nervous tension. But anyway, this is good stuff. It also has a whole section on how to make tinctures and all that kind of stuff. Where was that? That is How to Make Herbal Medicine, 187. Obtaining the herbs, drying and storing garden and wild herbs. Some first steps. It talks about quality and advanced preparations. How to release herbs for home remedies. Here we go, methods at a glance. and then it gets in depth and tells you how to make tinctures and stuff. A lot of tinctures use alcohol. We don't use alcohol here. We don't keep alcohol in the house. The only alcohol we have here is rubbing alcohol, and I'm not going to make a tincture with rubbing alcohol, but I hear that you can use vegetable glycerin, and it's sweet and it will help preserve the herbs, and you can use it just like the alcohol in a tincture. So, it sounds like you use a 1-to-1 ratio of glycerin to herbs. So I'm probably gonna give that a shot and get some of that ordered. It looks like a gallon costs about $25. I found some information online about that. I haven't found any books about it yet, and maybe I'll write a book if I can't find one about it. I'll experiment with it. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope you enjoy yourself. I hope you explore this kind of stuff, and I hope you come back for more.